Hi, everyone. Welcome to Block Talk. This week, Maura and I have two blocks to talk about. One is from last week, and I missed that video, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, this week's block. So I thought we would start with last week's block first, and that is the Split Star by Lisa Alexander, and that is block number 15 in Sewcialites 3. Hi, Maura.
Hey, Ann.
Okay, so should we show block 15?
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I love yours, Ann.
It's
Way cool.
It's kaboom.
Way found a use for that orange fabric.
I know. I'm really forcing myself to put it in the quilt, so it's going in.
That is great.
So I missed last week's video, and Maura and I talked a little bit about this, and I guess a lot of people out there might feel the same way when they put too much pressure on themselves. We've all got a lot going on in our regular life, and our quilting life is just kind of a special little compartmentalized place. And I know that I do put too much pressure on myself. And last week I had a lot going on, and I should have recognized that by Friday night, there's no way I was going to be able to make a block, let alone a video, but I made myself try anyhow, and it resulted in a big old fit, and like 10 minutes, maybe, Maura, right before it was time to record, I told you I wasn't going to be able to do it.
I can't.
So I ended up being, I finished the block, as you saw, very, very, very frustrated. And really, it took me a few days to get over that. It's because I should have left quilting where it belongs, which is a happy place, you know. Instead, I drug all my other stuff into it. So I just wanted to bring it up because I think sometimes, I mean, us quilters, we're givers, and we spend just dozens of hours on something that we're making for someone a lot of the time, and we think about them the whole time we're making it. It's really meaningful for us, what you know. And then if we are doing it for a gift that has a deadline, like a wedding or whatever, we can tend to put pressure on ourselves there at the end. And, you know, it's our choice whether they will love it even if they get it late. So I guess the lesson for me is when I have that feeling like, oh my God, I'm not enjoying this. This is a nightmare. What's going on? I can't do this, but I'm going to try anyway. That's when I need to just stop and take a deep breath and put quilting where it goes, which is on the happy side of things. So, how was this block for you, Maura?
It's a rough week for, I think, everybody. There was a lot going on. And I was hating this block. I think I was paralleling your universe somehow. Lots of frustration. Just kind of like cranking it out because I knew I had to do it. There was a lot of stress going on in the week. I had some stuff personally going on too. So yeah, that metaphor of just, you know, keep going on. It's okay if it's going to be late. It's okay if you miss a recording. It's okay if they don't have their quilt at the wedding. It's okay. You do what you got to do and you do what you can do. And it's kind of those things where, you know, you control what you can and the rest of it, you just step back.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. So I'm sorry that you also had a rough week, but here we are.
Yeah.
Let's just maybe keep this one short and talk about quickly seam rips. How'd that go for you?
I had no seam rips on this one.
I quit counting at 6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, it was a completely frustration. I didn't have a problem with this block. It was just my attitude and the frame of mind I was in. It was just horrific. So And time? What do you have on time for that one?
Oh, on time on this one, I had 23 minutes and 51 seconds. Did you beat me?
No.
Oh,
For me, not including the tiny star in the middle. So I counted that as just a square and I didn't keep track of time for that.
yeah.
55 minutes, girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, no wonder. Oh my gosh, yeah. I love that you called it kaboom. I just love every aspect of that.
Thank you. It's a kaboom.
The end of the week, the block, and yeah, it looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you. It's pretty cute. I love those tiny sawtooth stars.
My problem on this one was I wasn't paying attention how I was cutting the fabric. And you know that lesson they teach you in early home ec where it's the grain and the pull of the fabric. And so when I got it done and I started, the more I ironed it, the more it wiggled out because I realized that I had cut it I hadn't paid attention to how I was cutting it off of the off the main fabric. So really disappointed with that because I got waves all through it. When I quilt it, it'll kind of mellow out, but yeah, was just floppy and bending. And the more I ironed it, the more it stretched out, and it was like, stop.
So this week's block, number 16, is called Florabelle, and it was designed by Heather Briggs. So should we show this week's block?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, and again, I love yours.
Oh, thanks. Such a cute pattern.
Yeah. And then with your black fabric, it really pops. It really, I showed this to Dan and he was like, what is that? And I was like, well, I think it's supposed to be a flower. And he was like, huh.
Oh, okay.
But yours looks like a flower.
Yeah, it's definitely your fabric selection is very sweet and soft and quite beautiful also.
But it's hard to pull out some of the stuff. I need more contrasts, and I wasn't paying attention to some of these blocks, like the strawberry. When I have the unripe strawberry, because I don't have any red in mine. And there's a lot of people I've seen in Sewcialites that have redone it, adding different fabrics so that it looks more like a berry or a huckleberry or
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I haven't been catching that. Well, there's a lot of people in Sewcialites that are doing, monochromatic quilt motifs too, and they look really pretty. I think yours are really pretty. I think it's just a different feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely not wrong. All right. So, did you rip any seams on this one?
I ripped one seam on this one.
Okay, all right. I didn't rip any on this one.
Okay.
Did you have difficulties? What happened? Why'd you rip?
I ripped because when I sewed one of the lines, my points, you couldn't see you couldn't see the points. They were just totally off, totally wonkers. And so then that was my tip of the day, was I ripped the seam and I went back and I put a pin exactly where I wanted it to meet, and then a pin in the other part, and then matched that up, and then re-sewed it, and it was like, oh, I have points now.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Can I see your block again? It looks like you're spot on
There's one that's just a little off, but before it was
not bad. You hit your intersections way better than I did. I've got some, but the smaller the block, the harder it is to see.
Yeah. So, oh yeah.
Problem with me is this black background and this crazy contrast. It's like jumps out at you. The mistakes.
It's still going to be gorgeous though. I'm loving your colors.
It'll be fun. I actually started thinking about a different idea for a setting. I thought, what if I take like lighter colors instead of black and just do squares and kind of make an exploding effect?
Oh yeah,
where
like
black,
a gradient, like
gradients into the black squares, and then the blocks are like fireworks.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Thinking about that, we'll see. I get these ideas and I work myself into quite a project, and I have a feeling that's what's going on again here. Let's see.
There are not enough hours in the day.
No. Yeah, this one was definitely a challenge to match up. And oh my gosh, so many little pieces. I was thinking about people that are doing the 3 inch. Holy
Oh,
crap.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
definitely getting tweezers out for those little. I wonder how big they had to cut theirs. I should look at this. Those 1.5 inch squares for me, they had to cut theirs at 1 inch.
Well, and when, when you're sewing that tiny, do you find that you have to like increase like your make your stitches way smaller, or do you leave them the
Yeah,
same?
yeah, for sure. Because, you know, if because the finished size for a 1 inch cut is a 1/2 inch piece of fabric in there. So,
Oh, good grief.
uh,
Yeah.
if if two stitches at the end of a seam come undone, well, that's damn near half your square. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I definitely would lower my stitch length for a smaller.
Do you do more
Yeah.
back stitching when you're doing a smaller block?
I don't. I find that lowering the stitch length like a lot to uh, like a one
Oh, okay.
or a 1.2, which is super tiny.
Yeah.
That those are really don't come open very
Okay.
easily at
But
all.
seam
You'd have to
ripping
really
is more
pull
that
on it.
much more challenging.
I don't have any tips for this one. I think that you're putting a pin in the intersection is a great tip for this one.
Especially when you've got a tip underneath that you're sewing that you can't see. It's kind of a blind sew. So having
Yeah.
that pin there to know exactly where it is, and then you can leave the pin in there and just kind of slant it and pin beside it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So use one pin to pinpoint where you need to sew, and the other pin to actually hold the fabric together.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that makes sense. I kind of always struggle with that. It's like, okay, how do I? I've got this pin vertically going down through the
yeah,
thing, but
yeah, yeah. No, don't jam that into your machine. But just being
yeah.
able to line up where I'm going into that point where I want it, and then I'm connecting it to, I would have to go through the bottom one first. So I want that one, and then I want to that point, and then I've got it together, and then I just tilt that pin like that, and then I can
Flat,
sew right over it. But when you
right?
open it up, my points are right where I need them to be.
No, makes sense. Yeah.
But lots of geese and snowballs. So
Geese balls.
yeah, the theme of the quilt.
Yeah, yeah. I like this block. I think she did a good job designing it. Super cute.
So what was your time on this one?
On this one, I took 39 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I beat you again. 25 minutes.
That's really good. I did go ahead and take time to trim down in between, just because I'm just not comfortable not doing that. And
Okay.
I was trying to keep my frustration level as low as possible this time. So I thought, no, I'm just going to do what makes me comfortable. So I kind of figured you'd beat me.
That
That's
works.
good.
That works.
You're crazy fast, honestly.
I get told that a lot. I'm kind
You're
of that
very,
way
very fast.
with everything. Yeah.
Well,
But I don't
you
have any
guys,
perfection, but it's getting better.
you guys probably don't know this about Maura, but she is an accomplished pianist. And I believe you have been all your life. Am I right?
Well, my mom wouldn't say it in the younger years.
So I think that she's got quick fingers, is what I think.
That works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it's time for show and tell. And this week, Maura has something to show us. So what do you got, Maura?
I have. It was started out as a Bonnie Hunter's mystery quilt, and I started it back in 2017. It was the winter that my mother got really, really ill, and unfortunately, we lost her. So the quilt reminded me. It was all my mom's favorite colors. I think she helped me pick it out. Some of the colors in it, and it was pretty painful to work on for quite a while. So I just put it away, and then I would pull it out and I would work on it. And this was before I had hooked up with measuring your blocks, making sure they're consistent. Flying geese, I wasn't paying attention. I would go. It was such a big project that I would sew for a little bit, and then I'd come back a couple of months later and I'd sew more, and I wouldn't pay attention if my needle had moved to, off to the side, or if it was, I wasn't paying any attention to that. I was just sewing, 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 and then I finally got all the pieces done and I put it together, and there's a lot of mistakes in it, but I'm still super proud of it.
Bonnie Hunter quilts are not for the faint of heart.
So. Well, and I had no idea. I'm going to show the back first to see if you can see the texture, because again, I hand quilted it. I don't know if you can see the...
Oh my gosh.
It's called, it's Bonnie Hunter's on Ringo Lake.
On Ringo Lake?
And it has, so this is the block. This is the actual block. And it's sewn on the diagonal with all this stashing, and then it just builds up from there. But when you present it, it looks like this.
Oh.
And it's one of those, oh my gosh, how did she do that?
That's one of those 3D looking blocks.
Yeah.
Where it looks like the edges are folded over. Maura, I love that quilt so much.
And these were all my mom's favorite, the teals and the, these were just a lot of her
teal
favorite
and brown
colors.
are so great together. God, I love that quilt.
And then when I quilted it, I didn't concentrate on the blocks that I had completed. I went to an area that was where they joined, and that's where I did most of my heaviest quilting. Was not on the blocks themselves, but where they intersected. So it's kind of an optical illusion. I tried to get the eye to help with the eye not seeing where the block landed. So, but this is an example of, so see that goose? See the little goose and the big goose?
Yeah.
And then there's some that are a little drunk. Yeah. And then my patches, the 9 patch in the middle, those were super inconsistent because I was coming back every couple of months and sewing more. And it was, to look at it, I would never win a quilt show. It's a hot mess. But I just kept going. I persevered. My point is, you don't see the flaws.
Right.
You don't see those little flaws.
Oh, especially in a Bonnie Hunter quilt.
Yeah, you just see the beauty of the entire thing.
Yeah, so, I love the colors. I love the pattern. And if you want to give that to me someday, I'd be so happy with it. You better not give that to anyone, ever.
Yeah, no, it's special to me. It's, like I say, it's a special one. It was a hard one. But once I got it finished and stuff, and like I say, I didn't know about cutting blocks. I was like, why are these... I had some that were 11 inches. I had some that were 9 inches. I had no idea about trimming them down. And then when I did trim them down, it was like, oh, wait, I just lost a goose.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, but just to keep going, and like I said in the past, every quilt I do, I learn more from it. I get better. Yeah. I take the knowledge from the last quilt and I go forward. And again, people that are perfectionists or think I can't do that because I have to produce something that's perfect and I just can't do it, so don't even try. You're missing out on so much.
Right. I mean, oh my God, quilting comes with so many gifts. And one of them is learning lessons, a lot of them. And lessons around patience, lessons around preparation, lessons around, taking your time and not hurrying, and the gifts, oh my gosh, just being able to quiet your mind for an hour or two while you concentrate on something.
Yeah, it's just an experience, and then it just kind of spews into life. It's kind of like, oh, okay, I can tackle this project. I'll do a little bit. I'll put it away. I'll work on it. I'll come back to it slowly but surely.
It's funny too, depending on how we are, we're also different. There's different lessons in it for each of us. For me, just letting go of everything not being perfect, that's my main one. And for a lot of other people, it's, paying more attention and trying to get it more perfect. So, I mean,
You do better when you know better, but you keep doing regardless.
Yeah, I think we all know how quilting makes us feel, so can't even put words to it, really. Except for last Saturday. It was a place of anger in my quilting room, and I feel guilty about it, honestly.
Well, sometimes we need to kaboom.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's a perfect way to wrap it up, too. Well, that's just beautiful, Maura. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next block. Bye, Maura.
Bye, Anne.
All right.